So you are thinking about, or perhaps you have already started the journey to prepare for UPSC, the civil service exam. And congratulations. If you have already started this journey, and even if you are planning, one of the first things that must be bothering you is the selection of the optional subject. वैकल्पिक विषय क्या लिया जाए? How to choose the optional subject? And I can very well understand this pain. It's been almost now 25 years when I started this journey. 25 साल पहले जब मैंने शुरू किया था, I was stuck with the same problem and I had the same doubt in my mind. यही तो प्रॉब्लम थी उस टाइम पर कि भाई ऑप्शनल कैसे चूज करना है. whomsoever you meet, whomsoever you ask, जिससे मर्जी पूछ लो जाके, everybody will give you a different opinion, a different suggestion, but nobody will ever tell you कि भाई क्या ये सब्जेक्ट तुम्हारे लिए सेफ है कि नहीं है. If I am a student of history and I feel that I love to read history, that doesn't mean that if I qualify with the flying colors, then anybody and everybody can qualify with history as an optional subject. History मेरा विषय है, मुझे अच्छा लगता है, मैं उसको 6, 7, 8 घंटे भी लगातार पढ़ सकता हूँ और मैं कभी बोर नहीं होऊंगा. मैं हिस्ट्री के साथ क्वालिफाई कर सकता हूँ, पर ये क्या ही गारंटी है कि कोई भी हिस्ट्री ले और वो हिस्ट्री के साथ क्वालिफाई कर जाए. One of the most unfortunate facts of the coaching industry, one of the most unfortunate facts, and I would seek apology from my co-teachers who teach in various institutions, but at times there are few who make a small mistake, but that small mistake cost very dear to the students. उनकी एक छोटी सी गलती, unethical practice, students के 3, 4, 5 साल भी खराब करवा देती है, उनके सपने को बिल्कुल ख़त्म कर देती है. You know why? They try to sell their option. आप सोशो ले लो, आप पॉलिटिकल साइंस ले लो, लेट्स टेक पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और एंथ्रो, आप ये लिटरेचर सब्जेक्ट ले लो, आप हिस्ट्री ले लो, आप ज्योग्राफी ले लो. डू यू इवन ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट व्हाट इज़ द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट, हिम और हर सेल्फ? कभी आपने सोचा यार वो किस सब्जेक्ट को पढ़ के खुश होगा? या कभी स्टूडेंट ने खुद सोचा कि विच सब्जेक्ट इज सुटेबल फॉर मी? यहाँ के वो हमेशा दूसरों को देख के, दूसरों को सुन के, listening to others' success stories, you start deciding your optional. And you know how wrong are these yardsticks to decide a subject that it should be my optional? The yardsticks being, it is easy subject. What do you exactly mean by a subject being easy? Easy होता है क्या यार, ये बताओ. चलो, अगर तुम्हें लगता है XYZ, लेट्स से सोशो है, पॉलिटिकल साइंस है, पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है, हिस्ट्री है, ज्योग्राफी है, फिलॉसफी है, एंथ्रो है, कोई भी सब्जेक्ट है, ये इजी है, तो यार फिर चेक करते हैं यूपीएससी के मोस्ट ऑथेंटिक डेटा से. वी हैव दैट डेटा विद अस वेयर यूपीएससी गिव्स द सक्सेस रिकॉर्ड ऑफ ऑल दीज ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट्स. भाई जिनको तुम कहते हो ना ईजी हैं, सेफ हैं, द सक्सेस रेट इन दो सब्जेक्ट्स इज बिटवीन 5 to 10%. दैट मीन्स almost 90 to 95% of the students who aim for the exam with the same so-called easy, safe subjects, they fail to qualify. So please think again now. And the subjects that you think they are very difficult, for example mathematics or civil engineering or electrical engineering, you know the success rate? It is more than 10%. Now again think. Let's take an example. There is someone who has done 5 years integrated law. Now that student, after studying law for 5 years, is still in a confusion as to what subject he or she should choose as an optional subject. I will pity both the student and the institution from where they have done the law. अगर 5 साल पढ़ के, if after 5 years you could not have that keen interest in law as a subject and you do not consider it as your optional subject, it is failure of both the student who never was genuinely a student and the institution where he or she was going. Because if you are sitting in a class of a particular subject for even if for 3 years of your undergrad course, you should have fallen in love with that subject. Or rather, in the very first place, if you have taken those subjects, if you have selected those subjects as your undergrad course, so that should have been your optional subject, because you would have that keen interest in the subject. That is why you selected those subjects. Now, having said this, I will once again try to make you understand that any and every subject is safe. Had there been any particular favorites of UPSC, अगर यूपीएससी के अपने कुछ खास सब्जेक्ट होते ना कि यार इन्हीं में रिजल्ट देना है, हमें तो सोशो से ही बच्चे सेलेक्ट करने हैं, पॉलिटिकल साइंस से ही करने हैं, एंथ्रो से ही करने हैं, तो इतनी बड़ी लिस्ट क्यों बना दी? व्हाट वाज द रेलिवेंस ऑफ द लिस्ट ऑफ द ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट्स? उनको डिलीट ही कर देते। यूपीएससी बोल देती ना यार ये 4 या 5 ही सब्जेक्ट रखेंगे या ये सिर्फ एक ही सब्जेक्ट रख लेते हैं। अगर लिस्ट है, ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल है, इफ देयर इज अ लिस्ट एंड द ऑप्शंस आर अवेलेबल, दैट मीन्स यूपीएससी इज फ्री and it will be fair in giving marks to you as per you perform, and your performance will obviously depend on your interest. Now, if you have interest in a particular subject, let's define the idea or the definition of interest here. Now, when I say interest, it means number one, have I seen the syllabus myself or not? If I have seen the syllabus, have I seen the very basic text? For example, I want to do socio. Have I picked up my NCERTs of class 11 and 12 and did I try read some of the topics? Could I understand? Could I sustain interest in them? क्या मैं उन topics को at least 1, 1.5, 2 घंटे for at least an hour or 2, could I sustain with them? Could I read them? And while I was reading them, was I able to understand them? Did I enjoy reading that subject? If yes, now step 2 comes. Step 1 is looking at the syllabus, picking up the basic books, reading the topics, trying to locate your interest in them. If you can sustain reading the topic, you are enjoying, and you start grieving, like you start making you start making notes out of it. That means yes, this subject allures you. Let's take an example. You picked up history, you saw the syllabus and you are frightened. Oh my God, this is such a huge syllabus. Then you still applied mind and you said, all right, I have read most of it in my GS. Now I can try pick up the NCERTs, the relevant topics, and try read them. And when you pick them up, now you are surprised that while you were doing it for GS, it was comparatively easier. Now it is becoming little difficult and you are not able to have that keen interest. So how can history be your optional subject? Even if the entire syllabus has already been covered in GS, be it ancient, medieval, modern or world history. Similarly, it is for political science or for public administration. So stage 1 is now defined. It has been made clear to you. I hope आप सबको समझ आ गया. Syllabus देख लो, NCERT की बुक उठा लो, जहाँ पे NCERT की बुक नहीं है वहाँ पर what can be the alternative source? It will be NIOS notes, National Institute of Open Schooling, right? Online available है, किसी के पास जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. खुद देखो, pick them up, read them, locate your interest and try at least 2-3 subjects that you have in your mind. This is one of the most crucial decisions. Don't hurry up. Haste will make the waste, right? Now coming to step 2. Now that you have seen the syllabus, you have picked up the basic books, you have read them and you were allured enough to start making some of the notes. Now comes the stage 2 and it is look at the past year papers. At least 10 years past year papers and see now are you able to at least understand the questions? Are you in a position to at least write a couple of points as an answer to it? If you are able, then what else can be your optional? It is a natural choice now. Now think about, can you do it through self-study or you need some coaching? When it comes to coaching, there are 3 options. You can go for live classes, you can go for recorded classes, or you can do through notes, the printed notes or some such material, and then you can only go for a test series, right? While you want to do it through self-study, there are a couple of challenges. Now you have to decide, are you able to tackle those challenges? Number 1, the most authentic sources. The biggest problem that many students at most of the times fail to understand. If you meet someone who has qualified the exam in past 1 or 2 years with the same subject, then you are very safe. But if you meet somebody who has qualified the exam with a particular subject at least 5 years before, like when you want to appear for the exam, now the sources have changed. New books have come in the market. New research papers have been published. There are so many new things in that particular subject. and the student or the candidate who has already qualified and is in service, perhaps he or she is not updating his or her knowledge for that particular subject, and they still think that the old book is relevant. Now imagine a situation, you go to a doctor who did his MBBS, like he never tried to go beyond it, and then he stopped doing his practice and he became a bureaucrat. Will he be knowing that what new salt in the medicine have been introduced? What are the new varieties available? You will always go to a doctor who is doing the practice, not to someone who has become an IAS or someone who is sitting in his family business, right? They cannot guide you as, or they cannot treat you as the one who is in practice can do it. I hope this example will amply make you understand. या तो स्टूडेंट ने पिछले 1-2 सालों में क्वालिफाई किया हो, और ऐसा भी हो अगर कि उस स्टूडेंट का रैंक थोड़ा पीछे आया था और वो रैंक इंप्रूवमेंट के लिए अभी भी एफर्ट कर रहा है. इफ यू आर लकी इनफ टू गेट इन टच विद वन सच स्टूडेंट who has either qualified in the past 1 or 2 years, or the one who is still in the process, even if he or she has qualified the pre-mains and the interview but couldn't get the desired rank and the desired post, now they are still in the race. So who can be the better guide than them? But in case you have no access to one such person, now please think, how will you know the authentic sources? One, the solution is you can go for the notes of some institution or the previous year toppers. They are available in the market. But now think another thing. Are you capable enough to maintain a discipline? Are you one such person who need no motivation, who need no mentorship, who can do everything at his or her own? Ask yourself. Look in the mirror, make an eye contact with yourself, ask yourself, had I been that much disciplined throughout? Have I ever made a plan or a strategy? Have I followed it properly, implemented it, or it just remained somewhere in the thin air? I didn't do anything. I just planned, never executed. Now, if you are one such person, that means you need a teacher. If you are a committed person, if you are a dedicated person, you can do it yourself. There is no denying the fact. Coaching is no magic. No teacher can give you a guarantee that you will become an IAS or you can even become a clerk in a bank. I am not demeaning the post of the clerk in a bank. It is also a very respectable job. No job is demeaning, right? Every job has its own dignity. But yes, any and every exam, unless you are serious, unless you are focused, unless you are committed, it is not possible to crack the exam. So if you do not have that kind of zeal or commitment, you need someone to push you, right? Notes are always available. Books are always available. Anybody and everybody can have access to them. And finally, one of the most important components that you should always keep in your mind, even if you have got access to someone who can give you that idea that what are the right sources, now the question is, when you write your answers, are they up to the mark or not? What is the scope of improvement in your answer writing? What kind of experiments you can do in it? Now you need someone to guide you. Again, if the same person who has qualified in the past 1 or 2 years or who still is in the process, if you have access to one such person, lucky you, please go ask them if they can spare time, nothing like that. But in case there is no one to guide you, then yes, you need a teacher. Now coming to the conclusion, selection of optional is very important. Choose it very wisely. Choose it on the basis of your interest. Do not get mesmerized by the ideas that the syllabus is vast or not so vast. Do not get mesmerized by the idea that it is so called easy or safe subject. The only thing that will make it easy, safe, scoring for you is your interest. If you have interest, you can do wonders in mathematics as Mr. Kanishk Kataria could do with rank 1. If you have interest, you can have sociology as your subject. If you have interest, you can have public administration as your subject. If you have interest, you can have Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Punjabi literature as your optional. Who is stopping you? Please locate your interest, identify it, work on it, and be successful. In case you have any doubt, we are providing our helpline number. You can get in touch with them. They will be more than happy to help you and guide you. And in case you want personal interaction with me on one-on-one basis, please get in touch with the helpline number They will get an appointment with me, and I would love to help you choose your optional without any bias, without any favor for my own self. That's my most ethical commitment with all the UPSC aspirants. Jai Hind, best of luck.